You're watching and listening to the Electronic Intifada live stream. And what I want to talk about now is that Israel is waging a smear campaign against Reem Alsalem. She's the UN Special Rapporteur on violence against women and girls, and they're demanding her resignation. Here you can see a tweet from the Israeli Foreign Ministry claiming, quote, Reem Alsalem denies Hamas rape documented by Hamas itself. In fact, to date, Israel has not been able to identify a single victim, living or dead, of supposed mass rapes across the whole of southern Israel by Hamas fighters on October 7th, 2023, as regular viewers and readers of the Electronic Intifada will already know. And here's another story from the Times of Israel. You can see the headline there. Rabbis, Jewish leaders call for removal of UN official who denied October 7th rape. So you can see that this is clearly a full-on Zionist campaign, and you're going to be hearing a lot more about it. So what is Reem Alsalem's supposed transgression? It's that she posted this factual statement on Twitter X on November 14th, quote, no Palestinian applauded rape in Gaza. No independent investigation found that rape took place on the 7th of October. And that's actually the few times that I'm aware of where any kind of person associated with the UN has stated the truth so clearly and bluntly. That is an absolutely accurate statement from Reem Alsalem. First of all, Israel has not permitted any independent investigations to take place. And second, two major UN-led examinations of the matter both state that they were unable to verify a single case of rape. And I want to go back again and to that claim from the Israeli Foreign Ministry in the tweet attacking Reem Alsalem. So let's read it again. Listen to the words. Quote, Reem Alsalem denies Hamas rape documented by Hamas itself. We've debunked this claim many times that Hamas documented or filmed rapes itself. And I just want to go over some of that again very quickly. This is a key report from the Israeli newspaper Haaretz from April 2024. By the way, it's an article that's trying to support and establish that rapes took place. But as you can read in the article, Israeli authorities have no evidence of the kind that the foreign ministry today claims exists. And since this Haaretz article was really pushing the claim of the rapes, I think it's very significant that they admitted this. Quote, this is from the Haaretz article. From inquiries put to three bodies in the defense establishment by Haaretz, it emerges that the intelligence material collected by the police and the intelligence bodies, including footage from terrorists' body cameras, does not contain visual documentation of any acts of rape themselves. So again, this absolutely contradicts this fake claim being made by the Israeli Foreign Ministry. Now, let's look at one of those UN reports, the one published by Pramila Patten, the UN Secretary General's advisor on sexual violence and armed conflict, that was published in March last year, and which, by the way, is often cited as proving that rapes took place. We've covered this report before many times, and the report tries to spin things in a way to support Israel's narrative. But when you actually really read it, you find that it comes up short. And so, for example, paragraph 34 of the report says that the UN mission team, specifically the forensic pathologist and the digital analyst, reviewed over 5,000 photos, around 50 hours, and several audio files of footage of the attacks, provided partly by various state agencies, that's Israeli state agencies, and through an independent online review of various open sources to identify potential instances and indications of conflict-related violence. And what did they find? Well, we see that in paragraph 74, quote, in the medico-legal assessment of available photos and videos, no tangible indications of rape could be identified. So remember, we're talking about an organized campaign of mass rapes taking place at multiple sites across Israel. Everyone's got their phone out, everyone's filming everything that's going around, and not a single one of these attacks was captured in a photo or a video. Incredible, isn't it? And then we have from paragraph 77 of the Pramila Patten report, quote, while the mission team reviewed extensive digital material depicting a range of egregious violations, no digital evidence specifically depicting acts of sexual violence was found in open sources. So it's not just, so they got video from Israel, from Israeli groups, and also they looked all over the internet, couldn't find any evidence. And now let's look at a few key passages of the report that was published by the UN's Independent Commission of Inquiry into the events of October 7th, and this was published in June of 2024. You can see there the cover of the report. And let's look at a few key passages in the report that directly address the Israeli government's claims in the context of its attack on Reem Alsalem. In paragraph 16, the UN Commission of Inquiry says, the Commission also sent a request for information to Israel in March 2024, inquiring about additional information in relation to rape and other forms of sexual violence, including evidence of any instructions provided to the perpetrators directly responsible for the attack on 7 October 2023 to carry out such acts, or information on specific cases of gender-based crimes on 7 October 2023, including cases of rape and other forms of sexual violence. It has not received a response. And then let's look at paragraph 17 of the UN Commission of Inquiry report, quote, the Commission notes the absence of forensic evidence of sexual crimes committed on 7 October. And then in paragraph 18, the Commission has not met any survivors of sexual violence committed on 7 October, despite its attempts to do so. And now, finally, let's look at paragraph 138 of the Commission Inquiry Report, which sums everything up. It says, quote, in relation to rape, the Commission has seen open source reports stating that Israeli civilians were subjected to rape and other forms of sexual violence at various sites in southern Israel on 7 October. The Commission has reviewed testimonies obtained by journalists and the Israeli police concerning rape, but has not been able to independently verify such allegations. It also says the Commission was unable to verify reports of sexualized torture and genital mutilation. Additionally, the Commission found some specific allegations to be false, inaccurate, or contradictory with other evidence or statements and discounted these from its assessment. So there you go. No independent inquiry has ever verified that a rape took place on October 7th. The statement made by UN Special Rapporteur Reem Alsalem is 100% true. Now, you may be saying, well, the reports you cited, Ali, weren't those from a year ago or more? Yes, some of them were, but this complete lack of evidence is still the situation. And you may remember that in July, Asa Winstanley and I reported on an effort to revive the mass rapes hoax by an Israeli propaganda outfit called the Dina Project, funded by the British government. As we reported at the time, the Dina Project was not able to come up with any new evidence to support the claim, and nobody else has either. You can find our full report on the Electronic Intifada YouTube channel. It's called, quote, Israel revives 7 October mass rapes hoax with same old lies.
It's just astonishing that we have to keep debunking this over and over and over again. But, you know, this is the currency that they trade in, lies and hoaxes. And
Yeah.
And the fact that the corporate media is still, the New York Times still hasn't retracted its bombshell hoax story that Jeffrey Gettleman and the others wrote. It's
And on
depressing.
your last point, Ali, about this, when you were making this sort of devil's advocate point about this, these potentially being older sources, the DINA, in addition to what you said, the DINA project is still going around on tours around the world, basically saying the same thing, saying and admitting, they're saying the same nonsense, but also in passing admitting that there was no evidence of these claims, that there was no actual physical evidence, no visual evidence of any of these, supremely exaggerated, at best is the most generous thing you could say about them, but really fabricated,
Completely
claims.
fabricated. Yeah.
And this is just, the other part of the story. I suppose I think back to conversations we've had with Craig Mokhaiber and others, is the cowardice of UN officials.
Yeah.
People who have this sacred responsibility to the most vulnerable people on earth, to protect them, to protect their human rights, and how time and again the top leadership of the UN has caved into these intimidation campaigns by the Israel lobby, the smearing, the lying, the bullying, the pressuring. And you could see that Times of Israel report, they're recruiting, rabbis and Jewish groups to come in and pressure the UN to try to have Reem Alsalem fired from her role as special rapporteur. And the special rapporteurs, like Francesca Albanese is one of them. These are unpaid positions. They're independent human rights experts, appointed by the UN Human Rights Council. And that's why they are able to say the truth. That's why Reem Alsalem can come out and say this. And I hope she won't be intimidated into backing down in any way. I don't think she has, and I hope she won't. But that's how they do it. They try to bully people into retracting. And it's really important to understand how it works and to use this opportunity to condemn Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, for his persistent failure to defend UN officials or independent experts against these smear campaigns. And in fact, his role in fueling these smear campaigns by time and again pandering to Israel and its lying propagandists.